Hello. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna walk through um, basically how to get a box shape into Gravit. So the first place we need to go is MakerCase. Okay, so once we go in there, now you should already have your measurements at this point, um, and you're basing this top layer, which would also mean it's the bottom layer, off of your measurements. So let's say your circle here is right there, and you wanted your box, I'm drawing it as we speak, is right around it, right? Like that. And we measure our box, and it's, um, well, let's just keep it like this 4 inches, because that's our unit of measurement here, 4 inches by 4 inches. And then the height of the box, well, that can be determined by you. We can make it really tall, right? And if I wanted to fit my coffee mug in it, we're talking about um, quite a few inches, maybe even more than 8. So now we have that. We are going to leave the material thickness at this height because that's about the size of the plywood that we have that we'll be cutting. We can keep it flat joints if we want, but to have it a little bit more joint together, we can put in fingers. So that's what I would do. And notice whether or not these are outside dimensions or inside dimensions. Well, if this is the perimeter of our box, okay, then we're actually talking about inside dimensions, which would make this a little bit bigger. It would adjust for the size of our material. At this point, let's say generate plans, and you'll see it gives us a little image of what we're going to download, and we click download plane. Hopefully you can see that. It's a button, blue, and it says download. And now you have this case plans SVG in your downloads folder. If you're wondering where your downloads are, if you go to your Finder there and you click on downloads, it'll be somewhere in there. And we know that they're called case plans, so we can see them right here. Okay, now we're going to go into Gravit.io. Click on Gravit, and we're going to go to Designer. It should log you in. If it doesn't, log in with your Google account. Okay, and here's where things are a little different than before. Normally we would be starting with our own canvas that we're setting the entire thing to specific parameters, but we're not doing that this time. No, 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 no. We're going to open from computer because the file we're opening is right there. So now we have the option to look in our downloads, and we can see that caseplans.svg is right there. We're going to open that. Now, at this point, we know that this is the top, this is the bottom, and we're not really going to use a top per se, but I guess we can hold on to it for now. But consider this maybe the bottom, okay? So we could even, if you know the diameter of your candle, you could even put it in the middle here and adjust the size of this for your candle. But what we really want to know is who's doing what side, okay? So the sides, let me zoom in. You can see that the sides are going to fit together where the T-joint, or these finger joints, can fit inside of each other, okay? So what that means is, try and follow my arrow here. These two joints are going to, and these joints along this side, they're going to push up against each other if they were pushed towards each other. So those don't actually join each other. So these are two opposite sides. Let's zoom out. This side and this side and this side, those are opposites of each other. Okay? And this side and this side would be opposite of each other, which means this side and this side connect, and this side and this side down here connects, just because of how those slots go together. And when I'm talking about opposite sides, I'm talking about this side being opposite of this side, and this side being opposite of this side. And obviously this is the candle, right? So we're looking at it three-dimensional. This is the base, okay? So at this point, grab your text tool and put in some text. We're just going to label A. We're going to label, oh, let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing. This doesn't matter. You're going to delete this later on. But we want this so that we know which, let's see where that's pasting. So we know who's doing what. That's important, right? Let's get rid of that. Let's get a nice big A here. And we're going to increase the size of it to 60 so we can see it. Okay. We're going to duplicate that. We're going to put this here. We're going to name this one B. Okay. Duplicate again. Duplicate again. Make this one C. And we'll duplicate one more time so you can see it. And then make this one D. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4 too. It doesn't matter. And we know that this is the base because of that circle we put there. So we know that this is the top, which we may be getting rid of. So at this point, you have these labeled. We're ready to export. Now we would export as an SVG. And, ooh, I forgot to do something. I forgot to save it. So what we're going to do is we're going to save it as lantern template, because that's what we have. We have a lantern template. And now, if we export it as an SVG, scalable vector graphic, that's what we want. Now we have it in our downloads. And at this point, what you would do is you would go to your mail and you would email your partner with this new SVG with these labels, A, B, C, and D. And then you can leave, let's say you were choosing to do the A panel and the C panel. B panel and D panel are identical to those two. So let's say you were doing A and C. Well, you would delete the C and you would delete the A so that you had a blank canvas to work with. And you could leave those so that it reminds you that your partner is doing the other two. And that's pretty much it. So you'd both be working on your own segments. And then once we get to the point where you have everything done, you would actually delete out all of these additional panels. But we're going to wait to do that, and that's going to be a whole separate class. So at this point, I think you're good to go. This looks great. All right.